Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CCA Division 1 playoffs. I am DRF, joined by my co-host today.
Hello, it is me, Frosty, and welcome to the Division 1 Finals. DRF.
Well, first of all, we are live in studio here in Southern California, so we're going to go ahead and mix things up here for you all today with an in-person component, something that we've been wanting to do for a really long time, and we are so excited to make it happen tonight. So we're going to be getting things started shortly with a couple of semifinals matchup, followed by our grand finals match. It is going to be back-to-back best of 9 matches between our top 4 teams. We have PSU Blue, Red Emberz, MSU Aries, and EAUCD Banana Split.
Wow, so definitely very stacked bracket here today. I can't wait to get started personally, but
yeah, we'll be getting started pretty soon. We are waiting for the teams to finish up their warm-ups and to get us into the lobby. But I mean, let's go ahead and just kind of talk a little bit exactly like you're saying. How did we get here? So we'll go ahead and pull up the bracket for you all here in just a second to break down exactly how these teams ended up where they are now. So we'll see that with our first matchup that is coming up, PSU Blue versus Red Emberz. That is going to be our first semifinals matchup. Red Emberz had a bit of an unusual path to get here into these playoffs, Frosty.
yes, definitely. One would argue quite the messy kind of fight to get here. If I'm not mistaken, their record was
2-3. They had a losing record and made the playoffs and made top 4 in what has never been done before in the CCA.
Yeah, and definitely potentially taking a shot at the title right now. To my knowledge, definitely another thing that like never heard of before. This team coming out of the gates, just ready to start swinging, shooting for this title against PSU Blue, which to my knowledge has dropped how many games? One game out of
one game.
How many weeks?
5 weeks. So they're currently 20-1 in individual games. PSU Blue comes into these playoffs as one of the teams to watch for. So they have dropped a single game to a team on the opposite side of the bracket. That's going to be EAUCD Banana Split. So that is going to be the UC Davis team, the reigning Division 1 champions. They are back. They are trying to fight to keep their crown here, Frosty. We're going to be seeing them a little bit later in the show going down against MSU Aries.
Right, but right now, looking at this first match we've got going at PSU versus Red Emberz, I'm seeing right here, going to rather how they plan on taking the semifinals down to secure their spot into finals right here. PSU, their keys to victory being with containing Krakenmare's brush teamwork, and it's something they kind of always kind of work with, now throwing Vapor into the mix as a new addition to their team this season, adding that Explo for that backline pressure to sort of play off of that short and long range together.
Yeah, and I think that was one thing that PSU Blue was really missing last season was that, for lack of a better term, explosive backline. And they're getting exactly that in Vapor this season. Freshmen who, I guess, went from West Coast to East Coast to go play some collegiate Splatoon. So, you know, Crack and Vapor, both dear teammates of mine on TZS. So, you know, I'll be rooting for them a little bit for sure. So that's going to be that dynamic duo that you will have to watch out for. But of course, it's not just about them too. The PSU Blue has quite the roster as well. We see Snow, we see J Money, we see Nitro, and I think that's going to be another interesting question that we're going to be answering today is Nitro going to be playing? We don't know, because it's kind of, Nitro's been kind of in and out all season long, so if Nitro's playing one, is that going to be a key part of their synergy? Is that going to cause issues, or is Nitro going to be able to seamlessly fit in? And on top of that, you know, Nitro's a very talented player who just hasn't played as much recently, so is Nitro going to be rusty?
That's another thing to consider with the idea of just the surprise pick coming out. Nitro, just a player that not a lot of these teams have a lot of knowledge on, at least for this season in particular, with Snow and J Money being very consistent on the PSU roster and kind of showing their stuff. When Nitro hits the field, no one knows what's going to happen. We've only seen Nitro, say,
4 games.
4 games.
We saw Nitro for 4 games this season, and we are being told that Nitro should be around tonight, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they work with this additional piece.
I'm loving the mind games already. But looking at the other side, we've seen Red Emberz saying that their eyes are on the prize. They recognize that this season has been rough to fight their way into this, but they are ready to hit the ground running with this set, keeping their communication on point. That is a very crucial part, especially against a team like PSU, being able to always know where your teammates are, where the enemies are, and kind of that balancing act of knowledge that needs to be maintained is a tall order, but they're dedicated to pull it off tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the interesting thing that Red Emberz has going for them is that they're in the unique position of having played PSU Blue already. They got swept 4-0, but each of those games, they were definitely in them. You know, at one point, I think it was either Rainmaker or Tower Control that they had pushed all the way to like 10 to 15 points remaining, but they ended up letting that game go as, you know, Kraken there on the funny bush, able to get behind and cause some havoc. And, you know, that's going to be a really interesting thing to see as well is, you know, Corona, also a brush player. You know, Kraken kind of has the bigger name here, but Corona, we saw them running circles around UCSD Esports Gold in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, definitely the brush v brush warfare that we've seen in quite a few matches actually. In the CCA yesterday, I believe there was a match where it's the battle of the brushes, being able to have these short-range weapons that have a lot of potential to make these very quick flanks that you need, especially in Division 1, where a lot of these plays happen in the blink of an eye. To be able to get a teammate around the other team instantly like that, you need to kind of be able to enable that teammate, and then the rest is smooth sailing. But when there's another one, you're bumping heads, and then it's gonna get messy.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we are still waiting for these teams to get settled in, and it seems like that they are going to start getting this lobby up and running soon-ish. So we're going to start working on the backside here to get into this lobby. So we are so excited that this first semifinals matchup is going to be starting off pretty soon now. You know, with 3 back-to-back matches. It really, I guess what we're going to say is anything can happen. I think that a lot of people have very specific predictions as to what's going to happen, especially because we have 2 teams that have each dropped only 1 game all season long. It seems like we are just right now on a collision course between PSU and MSU, but again, Red Emberz Banana Split trying to do everything in their power to stop it.
And you never know what can happen. A lot like Banana Split and Red Emberz coming in recognizing, okay, these 2 other teams in the bracket, they haven't dropped anything. Now's our chance to strike and make a name for ourselves here. This is a big opportunity to be able to kind of swing things the other way and say, all right, here we are. You were sleeping on us all season.
Absolutely, because like Red Emberz, they've been a really interesting team because we came into this season saying, hey, this is going to be one of these new titans. Like, we instantly recognized as CCA staff that they're going to be one of the teams to watch for. Now, of course, we mentioned time and time again that they've really taken an untraditional path to get here, but they're still here. Like, you know, it's overall now they are at a 3-3 record, which that I feel like just doesn't really. It's not a true testament to the level of talent that is on this Red Emberz roster. So I think as we're going to start getting ready to jump into the game soon, almost everybody is in our lobby, just waiting on one more member from Red Emberz. Frosty, I do think that this is a good opportunity let's go ahead and speculate just a little bit. What do you think is going to be happening in this set? Who do you have? How many games we going?
Ooh, good question. You know what? I'm thinking 5-3 PSU.
Wow. Okay, 5-3. So you're putting some solid fate into Red Emberz to really mess up PSU here and really slow down their momentum.
I mean, I am. We've seen what they're capable of, especially against a team like UCSD Esports Gold, a staple team in the CCA that's managed to pull off 4th place placings. That. They're a very consistent team, and to be able to beat a team like that, Red Emberz is showing that they have a lot of potential to really mess up PSU here. I'm still thinking 5-3.
Okay, I can respect that. as for me, I'm going to go ahead and say that PSU going to win this one for sure. I'm going to go ahead and say this is going to be 5-1. I think PSU, they've been putting in a lot of practice. I'm sure I'm going to be a little bit biased here for my own teammates, but I think objectively, PSU just has so much talent on this roster, so much synergy that you just can't deny. And I think that Red Emberz is going to come into this with a lot of new knowledge from that last week's set in the regular season, and I think they're going to be able to apply. I think these games are going to be close, but give me PSU in 6.
PSU in 6, bold considering the showing that Red Emberz has had. They've seen this team before. They've played them in the main season. This is the opportunity to kind of look back and think, okay, we've seen what they're cooking, now it's our turn. I think that the run back is a lot more likely than you think, and who knows, they might surprise us.
They might. So, as always, anything truly can happen. Everybody is in lobby now. So we are going to hopefully get things started here. And yes, now teams are going to be readying up. So let's go ahead and talk about our very first map mode here. It is going to be Clamblitz on Scorch Gorge. No funny business today, Frosty. We're going with all of the classic Splatoon 3 map modes. And it should be a good one. Clamblitz, Scorch Gorge, starting things off for both these teams. What can you expect?
Well, with Clamblitz, Scorch Gorge, it's very difficult to kind of establish yourself back in once you're pushed in. I think this is actually a main concern with tower control that a lot of people have, but it does apply to Clamblitz, where once you're pushed into your basket, you are essentially fighting an uphill battle at that point. Because once that team is set up under your basket, every way up through it is considered basically a choke point. You have to go all the way around if you want to flush them out from the other side. So at least from right here, these brushes might have it easier on defense than offense, which will be just interesting considering how we just talked about that these brushes like to go for these flanks and be able to set up all these plays. But on Scorch Gorge, I don't know, personally I find it a little more difficult for them to do that, and how their team enables them will determine who wins this.
Absolutely, and you're right. With the brushes here, it is going to be a little bit more difficult for them to get into that offensive flow because your only true flank option is to take the grates.
Ain't nobody taking grates.
Nobody's taking grates. I agree with that. It will be pretty surprising to see anybody really push those grates. So you're right. It's going to be defensively for sure, but we could see some clutch plays out of both Corona and Kraken. But with that said, folks, we are going live now with game number 1 of our first semifinals matchup here in the Division 1. Loaded on in, Frosty. Taking a look at these compositions. What are you seeing?
Right off the gate, I'm looking at Tao over there on the splatter scope. Being a very interesting choice to kind of deal with that X-flow. Having a lot faster of a kill time and sort of more instant pressure on the field. That's something that I think Red Emberz could really capitalize on and just win the match way faster. But on the flip side, we have these are very part of comfortable top for them. Snow on the 52 gal, notably being able to have a lot of pressure with that splash wall, setting their teammates in very slow and steady, but no doubt effective.
Take a look at this already. We are seeing PSU making some noise in the first 30 seconds here. Already getting the lane white. Piling in the clans all the way down to 53 remaining. They are showing absolutely no mercy to get these kicked off here.
What a first push, already getting down to 44, and still with 2 members still near the basket. Snow being able to set up with a splash wall. However, they're the only one left. They need to retreat and get away from that brush to give their teammates the jumps and keep control of mid. That is the name of the game on Clamblitz Scorch Gorge. If you lose control of mid, you have to push your way back in. Corona on top of the grate, being able to fling Ink down, trying to get the team to back up. No, being pushed back by the X-Flow right now and being set up as no, just being chased around the wall.
Oh, it's gonna win through that one. Able to get a picture move there, and not gonna be able to win this 1v1 with enough fellow brush Kraken Mayor. As now, PSU total take going down 2 members here. Now we're going to run up to the station, make a move. But in fact, is coming out and going to slow down this PSU push. A beautiful defensive back there to be able to slow things down. Illinois State trying to buy himself some time. Corona going to go ahead and drop down to it again. Kraken, and we are back to about a middle fight still.
This is a very messy neutral right now, but as we saw in the first push, the second that one member goes down, as we're seeing PSU 2 members down, as the members are pushing up the tri-slots and they're getting picked off, but trading with the brush, a very crucial pick to get the defensive options out. The Kraken goes down to the Zuka, as Phil trying to get the clans to make the push, but no, only 6 clans for the team. They don't have enough to make the ball just yet.
Oh, this is just not a great opportunity here for Illinois State, and the jump is going to be denied by Kraken Mayer. And this is going to be a dead push seemingly for Illinois, but no, Corona trying to go ahead and just use that brush to weasel his way through the spawn here underneath the basket. Gonna get called out by Snow, not in a great position there. Will back up to mid. It's going to be Terao with the power clamp, trying to get a couple picks with this not E-leader, Charger. You know, I'm so used to being an E-leader here. But it looks like with this scuffle underneath the basket, it's going to go PSU's way as Cliff is trying to hold on to mid here, and this push looks like it is going to stall for now for Illinois.
You gotta hit it rather. Being able to keep the leaders back, but pushing them from behind and keeping that away. Wait, as I said, one ball goes to beautiful bomb being able to secure the pit. One member is left. Zolo's throwing the clams in, trying to get the lead. No, being picked off. The push is dead. However, 54 points, a lot closer than they were before. They are still in this match with 1 minute 45 left to play. Vapor setting up on mid. Tagging one with the point sensor. Very crucial being able to keep themselves alive as they're trying to get the clams back. This team is showing that they're very proficient in keeping the time efficiency when neutral is being played. And it's just a matter of sort of deciding when they'll go in. Right now, just kind of poking out with as much as possible, trying to avoid Channel's laser, just kind of edging around, seeing if you can get 2 picks and then make that pick in.
Yeah, and Vapor really far back now, not really able to get into the position that they want. Corona gonna try to shut down this crab. Not gonna be able to get it! Oh, a beautiful move by Jay to somehow get out of that situation. And now it's still gonna be Illinois State with the numbers advantage though, but that pick alone might have just bought PSU enough time to get their defense settled. Because PSU right now does not look like the aggressors. They have not been the aggressors in probably about 3 minutes.
Reaction is just smart, especially just utilizing a cooler like that and a charger. The kind of comp that can move forward fast and deny space fast. They need to be able to play very defensively and recognize their opportunities to punish Red Emberz whenever they decide to go in. PSU right now kind of throwing out just a bunch of pink counters, causing a lot of confusion right here. Corona going in, pushing people off of the middle area, pushing all the way back. And it's going to see more space and pink back come out to get a bit more coverage. Multi-plans are being gathered. Sitting pretty at 14 right now, but that is not necessarily good enough to get the push. Get the special and people on that ramp. Right now there's a lot of pink going down both ways, with the tactical being out, however not being able to secure the way in. With 10 seconds left to play, Kraken and Snow pushing in, managing to get the pick on Cliff as Terao is forced to back off with the power clamp.
Oh, and this is not a good situation for Red Emberz here. They are all the way back in their spawn. It's just a matter of waiting out this timer, but no! Kraken gonna build the power clam, and what, the nail in the coffin there? I mean, just a beautiful play there to, wrap this one up. PSU Blue winning game number 1 by 10 points here. So definitely not seeming like it's going to be as easy as PSU may have thought.
Definitely with that showing. I do want to point out that was very smart play from Kraken there. Being able to get those clams, because if you notice that when Kraken's rampaging over there, the teammates are backing away from that brush. You do not want to be caught with a brush inside of your, is that a pit or court? I forget the call out for it, but, and being able to use that opportunity of, hey, one of our teammates is not being targeted, everyone wants to be away from them. Let's build the clam there and then dunk it for the victory. They're sort of kind of splitting up their priorities, but also keeping them around the same area. It's a very smart multi-goal plan, and it worked out pretty well there.
Yeah, it certainly did. And like we said, it just really didn't seem as easy as I think we might have been anticipating for PSU. They came out explosive in those opening 30 seconds. And that really, that was the only push they really got. If you want to count Kraken's overtime, bonus dunk to end the game. But there was really only one true push that we actually saw from PSU Blue there. And after that, it really just seemed like Illinois State was kind of running the show. It took them a really long time to get to the basket, but they did an excellent job of controlling mid and just making it really difficult for PSU to break out of their defenses. But I mean, the PSU defense was just on lockdown.
Right, with all that pressure keeping them inside, they did a really great job of sort of keeping their cool. Even though the points ticked down to 54, it wasn't enough to take their lead away, and I think that's what they were counting on. just sort of, okay, well, we've got the Explo, we've got enough defensive play style that we can kind of play around that aggression and just push them off right when we've about hit our limit and make our counter push really good. But speaking of one push, Splat Zone's Barnacle and Dime.
A classic one push map mode, in many cases. So we'll have to see what the story is here. I think the key for Illinois State, as we talked about those keys to victory, Illinois State stating that they're really looking to keep Kraken in control, keep Vapor in control, and from there just continue to deliver some consistency. I think that's the key thing that they really wanted to deliver here. But if they can find a little bit of that consistency, if they can be able to start to isolate Kraken a little bit more. I think Kraken got a little more free reign than they were hoping for. It seemed like Vapor, they did a good job of continuing to hold back. But this is also splat zones. Explos love splat zones. So we will have to take a look here. It seems like we are mostly sticking with the same compositions that we have seen previously.
You know what? Well, actually, notably, is that Crab? Was that Crab there before?
Yeah, the Crab was there before from J-Mine.
We're missing the 52.
That's what we're missing, is the 52. You are correct.
Fair. But the addition of the Zuka, definitely a good idea here, being able to kind of control that flat area. That's the area you want to hold on offense, and I suppose on defense you want to hold your own. As we're seeing right here, PSU getting 2 picks on the plat and pushing quarterback. No, that is a wipeout in the first 30 seconds as the members of PSU are taking the box and pushing into the spawn area. This is not the opening you were looking for if you were Red Emberz.
Definitely not. This is starting to resemble that game number 1 though, and we did see Red Emberz manage to break through here, but this is Barnacle and Dime. Things are so different here. This is such a lockout friendly map mode as they are just holding position right now. This timer all the way down to 35 points remaining. It seems like Red Emberz is finally going to get a numbers advantage, but no, it's going to be Snow that goes ahead, and that might have also been a nail in the coffin there. Nobody except the Charger is around to try to contest this zone. Oh, but the backshot's going to try to neutralize, and they get the neutral, but they don't get the zone. They were just pixels off of flipping that. Oh, they took a page out of the Splatoon World Championship there and just missed the mark barely.
Oh, I was really hoping that back shot would have made something happen. But no, Jay being able to keep the members pressed in with that Crab on that higher ground. Keeping them very far from the zone, not to mention with not a lot of swim space to move around with all that firepower going out. Even if the zone did flip, we might have seen just another kind of holding that plat area, just kind of keeping the advantage of why I hate Barnacle and Dime personally, but
well, it is a community-loved map mode for whatever the reason may be. I mean, I'm not a big Barney and Dime fan personally, but hey,
we love you, Barney and Dime. Wait, no, is that? Oh yeah. Okay,
Barney and Dime. We're cool like that though. We call each other by that name.
So you're on a nickname basis.
Yeah, we're on a nickname basis with Barney and Dime. Well, going on to game number 3 though, as we have that on deck, it will be Tower Control Museum de Alfonsino. This is another kind of interesting map mode where it's not the most traditional, but it's kind of seen waves throughout the Splatoon community where, sometimes you'll see it a fair bit, but sometimes it kind of just fades, away into the depths of mincemeat, wherever that lays.
Well, okay. I like to call TC Museum a quick time event.
A quick time event.
With the way that the map is structured, you have very limited opportunity to make your moves safely. Mm-hmm. Especially because, let's take with the tower path on the right side, being such a difficult area to get through, because when the tower's over there, you can't really see your teammates up consistently because it takes a while and they're on a wall and they can't, help you trade fire. And pushing up too soon just means your team gets wiped before the tower even gets there. Going up too late means you've got no coverage up there. It's very difficult to strike the balance of when you should go in. And I feel like this match will kind of boil down to whichever team gets that advantage first and takes it, will be able to set themselves up very easily to kind of get probably to 20 points or something,
Yeah, and this will definitely be a very high-scoring game, as most Museum Tower Control games are. And definitely the key thing to watch out for here is that final checkpoint. The final checkpoint, what I always like to dub the oh no zone. If you get the tower there, you are in so much trouble, and you are just going to be fighting to keep the game going to 5 minutes. So let's take a look at these compositions. We see a couple of people cooking here. Is that a paintbrush?
What? Wait, it's the vanilla paintbrush too. That's not the new one, is it?
No, but take a look at Kraken, what he is trying to do right now. He is already just trying to utilize the extended range of the paintbrush to really work those ledges. And I think what his objective is going to be here is that knowing that Corona is coming in with that paintbrush, he just wants to be able to outrange. So he's going to play the spacing game here. And that is working so far. He's going to be the tower rider, actually. Take a look at Vapor on the back line with that custom Jet Squelcher already trying to push up as Kraken just going ahead and taking a bit of a stroll here on top of this tower while the team does all the fighting. But Solo going to be coming up big with that Zuka shot. That is a wipeout. Illinois State gets their first stop here right in the nick of time at the end of that second checkpoint.
Very strong defense here from Illinois State, being able to kind of keep that pressure. Even though that first checkpoint has gone down, the second one is where it all matters. So once that second point is down, it is very easy to set up on the top areas. And with the comp that PSU's running, with the Jet Squelcher instead of the Expo, a lot more aggressive potential, as we're seeing right here with the Charger being pushed back and forced to jump out. Right now, as PSU once again takes control of mid and is setting up for their next push. Kraken making use of that paintbrush's range to kind of get around, but no, Corona is going to be able to pick them off. As Snow with the flank. No, sorry, no,
Solo.
that's Solo. My
All
apologies.
good, all good. Well, that is going to be, yeah, my apologies. But yeah, that's going to be Illinois State that is going to finally get first control of the tower here. Pushing all the way up to this first checkpoint. They should be able to get this first checkpoint for free. And it's just going to be a matter of how much can they close this gap. Can they get the lead here? Tower continuing to move. Corona going to fall off the plat here. That's not going to be a good spot for them. This cooler is going to be coming out now. This should be a lead change in favor of Illinois State. They do get it. Plus the checkpoint. Plus 2 picks. They are on a roll here, progressing to that final checkpoint. Red Emberz trying to bring this set closer. 27 points remaining. Tower's going to stall here. Vapor going to hop on. Able to take down Zolo. Able to take down the brush. This push is over. Cliff going to jump in and add on 1 more point. But hey, that 1 point can be a difference maker, Frosty.
That 2v1 on tower was insane. Vapor just saying, you know what? I've got the longer range, but this time I've got firepower. Come at me. Being able to take that tower and push 2 members up. Azuka battle coming up.
You don't see that one very often, Frosty. A nice trade there between the 2 Zukas, one coming a little bit after the other, but this is back to a neutral game here. The raid is out from Vapor. They are trying to get back into this one. It's going to be the Charger that gets a nice pick. Oh, and the perfect timing for the back is going to neutralize that crab entirely. Red Emberz with 2 minutes to go, still holding on. It feels like this game's been going on for much longer than that, though.
And to think we still got 1 minute 45 left with 2 down on Red Emberz. Still trying to fight for that mid, keep the control that they have. That they need the lead right now because pushing into that second checkpoint again is not something they want to gamble with. Kraken going down to the Charger as Snow is forced to retreat behind the spinner. And it looks like Red Emberz is able to secure themselves once more, waiting for the respawns to come out. They are up 1 right now with control over the mid. However, Jay coming out with the crab, pushing the Kraken off as the Zuka comes out trying to clean the pick. Gonna fire 3 shots? No, not quite getting it. However, there is still, they're still set up in the mid in this very, very messy skirmish. Right now, Corona being flanked again as the tower keeps pushing inch by inch slowly towards that checkpoint again.
Oh, and they're going to go ahead and try to rush this back. No, instead, they just beat it and have to back up now. The Zuka, first one's going to get sucked up there, and that's a PSU shutdown. It's only Kraken left standing, and they are going to get called out there. A beautiful pinch. And it looks like Red Emberz is rolling right now. 45 seconds left before they can claim their first game of the set.
And right now, PSU trying to poke their way back in as Red Emberz kind of taking their time with this. You know, they've got a bigger lead, so they just kind of have to keep this tower moving generally, kind of get the picks where they can, make this game last as slow and painful as possible. Holding on to 3 specials right here as the cooler comes out, of course, trying to, you know, obviously got to take risks in case PSU decides to go in. But right now, a lot of bombs going out. The whales are going out, crossing over the plat. as one member goes down. Kraken is down. The Crab is out of commission as well. As right now, it is 5 seconds left, but no, one member on the tower. Vapor being shut down as Jay jumping in. The Fresh is still skirmishing. No, not quite.
So, Red Emberz will claim game number 3 here. It closes this set 2-1. So they're going to close that gap notably here. And I mean, if that looked really, really good from Red Emberz. So they're going to be handing PSU Blue their second loss of the season. So they've only lost 1 game so far. Now it's the banana split. Red Emberz now going to join that exclusive club to be able to take a set there, or take a game. My apologies.
A game like that is why I was a believer when I made my prediction, because that sort of flow that Red Emberz has in their matches, being able to sort of like effortlessly pivot from offense to defense the way they have, kind of swiftly and recognizing exactly where they need to be. That kind of control over the game state is what we want to see. And we are...
Yes, so we're going to go ahead and throw some stats up on screen for you all, because one of the beautiful things that this new, I guess, season has provided us is with some amazing new stats. So we'll have that on stream for you guys in just a second. We have our amazing staff member Neptune that's going to be giving us a feed here. We're pulling it up here on our end as well to kind of talk you through those first 3 games very briefly. As we do see, it is Illinois State that lost those first 2 games, but taking a look at the numbers though, you know, it seemed like it was very even between these 2 teams. I mean, it seems like that, you know, PSU kind of had the edge here, but numbers-wise, like, it wasn't actually too bad.
Yeah, a lot of these matches are coming down to who has control of the objective better. Being able to sort of control this this numbers game at the same time, yes, but once you're even in numbers, what do you do then? It's a matter of sort of recognizing your resources.
Yeah.
And as we're seeing in this sort of game state, like obviously your backliners are going to have kind of a low death count because, you know, they're in the back, not really in the action. But other than that, it gets very scrappy, and oftentimes you're seeing trades, which kind of, at that point, you're limited in your resources of who's left to make use of the objective, or I guess clean up what's left over.
Certainly. As we kind of take a look at game 2 there, that was just a very, very clean game from Penn State altogether. They combined for 6 deaths in that game, which, you know, I think that was actually a little bit more than I initially thought. It seemed like nobody really went down for PSU Blue there, but a very, very clean game from them nonetheless, just keeping the entirety of Illinois State at bay. And going into that last game that we just saw, this was a much better game from the Red Emberz. Corona leading the way with 17 KA, 9 deaths, and 4 whales. Tarao doing exactly what you need to do as a backline. That 11-2, that's a 5.5 KDA ratio.
That's insane. And the sort of value that provides of just being able to have constant jumps for your teammates, that you're never truly out of a fight, which is something that is very respectable. Kudos.
Yeah, and Taro, if they can keep that up, that's exactly what they need to do to continue to get their team back into this game, continue to play that position well. I think Museum was definitely a very beneficial map mode combination for them. So hopefully, if for Illinois State, there's a few more maps down the line that will work in their favor a little bit more.
Right. And I guess maps down the line, game 4, which one was that again?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually have that off the top of my head, but we could probably throw the map list on screen for you guys here, so we can take a look at it as well.
Head to am I right?
I didn't make the map list, so so everybody keeps wanting to blame me on this one, but here we go. We pull up the map list for you all. Up next is going to be Rainmaker on Crab Leg Capital. So that's going to be an interesting map mode. I know for a fact that this is one that PSU Blue is not looking forward to.
Really? Why so?
Crab Leg is just one of those that both Kraken and Vapor are very much against. However, they do have a very good strategy here that has kind of been formulated between both Triggerfish Zone Supremacy and Cherry Limeade. So I'm going to be interested to see if that's what they're going to do here. So definitely watch out for the quick pop followed by the grab pullback rail to the top right checkpoint. That's what PSU Blue's probably going to try to execute here, if I had to guess. But it's all going to depend on how that early game kind of shakes down. But if they're looking to play fast, that's how they're going to do it.
Interesting, being able to use the rail, because notably that wall that you normally have to climb up for the right approach is highly contested. The second you get near it, you probably have 2 or 3 people throwing bombs or shooting at you. But being able to back up and use the rail, I have never seen that personally, although maybe it's because I haven't really done my homework for Crab Leg, because as I was going to say, I have some choice words for whoever put that on there. I have a lot of hot takes with maps, but either way...
Mincemeat.
But with Crab Leg Capital, being able to use those grades, those brushes are going to have a field day.
It's going to be really interesting to see the brush battle for sure. I anticipate Vapor probably switching over to the ink back ballpoint. That's going to be my guess, because if you can get that back on the grates, that's a free, like after the first checkpoint, that's a free 30+ points right there. So anticipate that, and I would love to see Tara stick with that splat charger with the ink back as well, because that's going to also, really make this an interesting dynamic, because ink back is really the key to controlling those grates and getting those much bigger pushes.
Oh, interesting. Vapor sticking with the jet sculpture. This time going with the vanilla kit, the one with the ink back and line marker.
Okay.
Interesting line marker with all of. There's not too many walls. Oh, there's like one major wall, but I mean, there's not too many walls. So it's going to be interesting to see how that part of the kit is utilized, if that was the intent in any case. But right now we're seeing Red Emberz being able to establish themselves right in their pocket, with PSU slowly pushing in. The specials coming out with 2 members of Red Emberz going down. I know you mentioned the rail, but with a lead like that.
Look at that. Here's the rail move.
For it.
Yep. You're able to jump up there, and if you could time it perfectly, you could actually get onto that top right platform without ever touching the grate. Vapor going to fall a little bit short there, but does get the checkpoint pretty cleanly anyways. So exactly the move that we were anticipating there for PSU to get things kicked off. And now if Vapor, nowhere near the back though, is going to be forced to pick this one up and lead this charge now. They're going to be countered with an ink back from the side of Illinois State here, as that's going to be a 2 down. Cliff coming up big here, and that Rainmaker is going to get stalled right there, and this push is effectively over. Illinois State looking to respond.
I gotta respect the effort of trying to shoot over that ink back, because it's a tough special. You kind of don't know exactly where you're kind of safe shooting over and trying to score the picks. But right now, Red Emberz showing their skill with that Rainmaker, scoring a pick on Kraken, hiding from that Trizuka. Being able to waste 2 shots, and it looks like they're going to try to go over to the left checkpoint. Nope, they're rolling right back. Kind of playing the mind games here. I like it. And responding with a checkpoint of their own. Cliff being able to secure that.
Oh, and here it is. Look at this, ink back is ready, and it's gonna come out now. This is gonna be huge points. Kraken gonna have to go right into the face of the Rainmaker, able to do so, and that's gonna be the trade-off there. The ink back is so good at being able to open up that path there, but that's why you bring out the ink brush, and that's why this is such an interesting composition for both teams, because they both have the offensive and the counter to the exact plays that they're trying to pull off on each other.
Exactly. I love that point you bring up, DRF, because after the first checkpoint, there is a very difficult concept of movement that you have to be able to secure. Right here, as you see a good example, there's not a lot of space to comfortably move around at a speed that you'd want. You have to either make very risky jumps or walk across these grates unprotected. Great Zuka shot being able to take the pick off of Zolo there, as PSU pushing back once more. Both checkpoints are down. So while this match can swing very difficult, the idea of the space that they have to cover is a lot more slow than they'd like. And they have to be able to secure these pushes with their specials in a way that kind of guarantees them those extra points.
Certainly. So now with Illinois State having the lead halfway through this game, it's going to be 2 specials on either side, all members up. The back coming out early from Vapor. They're going to pick up this Rainmaker, and it's Corona who's behind. They're going to go ahead and pick them off. Try to get a little bit cheeky there. Not going to pay off for them, unfortunately. But PSU maintains control here of at least their side of the map, but it looks like Illinois State threw a lot of specials down there to try to keep control of mid, and it's not going to pay off as they lose 2 members. It will be Penn State picking up this Rainmaker. Now going to be swinging this to the right, it seems. So now with Kraken pushing up ahead, this very well could be a lead swap. If Vapor can just make this jump, they're going to back off though, get a couple of nice picks, going to somehow dodge it. That's teammate support right there. You take a bullet for your teammate and you can go ahead and secure the lead just like that.
Mad props to Vapor. That was a very patient push, being able to recognize, okay, with this Tri-Slosher, back it up, let the teammates go in front, deal with it a little bit, then we'll move forward. Jay, right here, opposite, but it still worked, of we push now. There is checkpoint, we take checkpoint. Simple, efficient. Love to see it.
Penn State back in the lead here, folks, with a minute remaining. And now Illinois State going to have to take this one coast to coast if they want to go ahead and secure game number 4.
The movement on this Jet Sculpture, being light as a feather, being able to pick off Zolo, and then kind of weaving around that wall while the Chargers sort of establishing themselves. Right now, PSU in a very good spot with the Ink Vac set up where the Rainmaker is running. They have an opportunity to push all the way forward, but no, the Vac is going to go off, pick off a member and trade, but the Rainmaker shield is still in Red Ember's position. With 30 seconds left to play, now or never.
It certainly is, and now they're going to be able to find one pick with that Zuka, but the rest of PSU kind of going undetected here, only showing themselves bit by bit, and wow, okay, a Chargers Zuka trade there, but that's a delayed wipe for Illinois State. They are slowly running out of time here. Kraken doing everything that he can to stop this push from even happening. Now, with 2 members down on PSU though, Illinois State will get one shot at this Rainmaker. We enter overtime. They're going to go ahead and pick up this Rainmaker, start advancing it slowly, very cautiously, trying to figure out where the members of Penn State are. You know that when you have particularly a brush on the other side, it's going to be very difficult to get the right call-ups, get the right position. They're going to be down a member now. 39 seconds left on this Rainmaker. And here's Kraken Mayer. They couldn't find him. He's going to get the shutdown. And PSU goes up 3-1.
Oh, very unfortunate being stuck in that pit there with only one real way out. I mean, I'm actually not sure. Can you make the jump from that box with the Rainmaker?
Swimming, I'm sure, yeah, but...
It's tough. It's tough, but kind of get it. Like, that's really difficult being able to push yourself out of that with a member going down. It's sort of leaving... Like you said, you need to keep an eye on that brush, but when you have one member down, you can't necessarily pivot as easily to protect that Rainmaker from that brush. Even with the Vac coming out sort of denying space, that's tough.
It is. And we're going to be going on to game number 5. And I said that there weren't any like goofy picks, but I realized this is the semifinals list, not the finals list. The finals is going to be all of your favorite map mode combinations, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Semifinals.
So you lied like a liar.
No, I just kind of forgot that we were starting with semifinals first, the semifinals map list, I should say. But it is going to be Clamblitz on Eel Tail. This is probably the single fastest map mode combination in the entire game.
Well, it's the fastest in the entire game if you can find your way in. This map gets very, very messy.
It does.
Yes, being able to capitalize on a mistake of your opponents is powerful, but it's a matter of where is that mistake. With such close quarters on this Tetris IP-shaped map, there is not a lot of opportunity, and you kind of have to make your own. So I want to see how creative these teams can get with sort of setting themselves up for these flanks without the use of flank routes, you know?
Certainly, and that's going to kind of be something to watch out for, especially with this map mode in particular. When you, like you mentioned, it's going to be a matter of how can you work your way in. And the key thing here is you're just going to have to play very smart. If you get the wipeout, you're going to be in a beautiful spot because wipeouts here are what translate to 100-0 pushes. So that's going to be the thing that both these teams are going to have to be careful of is you want to play aggressive, but you don't want to play into the opposing team's hand. So we're going to take a look now, jumping on in to game number 5 here in your first Division I semifinals of the evening. It's going to be Illinois State sticking to their guns here, and we are going back to game number 1's composition for Penn State.
Honestly, not a bad idea. Seeing how it worked before in Clamblitz, PSU kind of relying on that wall and Expo to slowly push their way in a very hard to break but undeniable, like, it's like a slow moving train. You can't stop it, but you can try to avoid it. On the flip side, Red Emberz being able to kind of trade even here in mid with Zolo and Cliff being able to skirmish. No, one goes down as Red Emberz has lost their control of mid.
Already, and that's going to be a power clam in the basket for Penn State. But it is not a wipeout, so this is going to be a little bit of a slower push, and this is what creates a very interesting dynamic in Clamlet's Eeltail, is that as long as you're not going to get wiped, it's a very interesting map mode that's going to kind of go back and forth here. I don't think that this is going to be a score that stands whatsoever between these two teams. I do have a feeling that Illinois State will be able to come up with a response. I mean, just look at where Corona is right now. All the way behind enemy lines here. That's going to be a 3-down situation. It's Cliff with the power clamp. This pushes on for Illinois. They're going to jump in. Zolo going to jump that second power clamp, and they take the lead a minute 15 in. They're not done yet, though. They're going to try to hold position here. Kraken going to run down Corona, be able to take them out, and this push is finally over. 54 points remaining. A great spot if you're Illinois State, but again, this is not going to stand at all.
100% with all of these pity clams coming in, and like we saw before, being able to jump that in is very critical because the way in normally isn't that safe. As we saw before, Corona getting pinched against the sponge, but just being able to get there in the first place is the hard part. After that, it's a lot more difficult as Jay right now showing their dominance with the crab on the bridge, unfortunately being taken out. But with 3 members down on Penn State, they have to push their way back in. As Terrell right now slowly pushing up with that charger, setting themselves up for a very powerful position to keep Penn State in check as the ball is being formed. Right now trading out with Kraken. They are 2 members down with Cliff getting a jump for Zolo in mid. They have lost that power clam. That push is done.
Yeah, and we're going to go back to a neutral state in the game here as this cooler is ready. I'm kind of surprised that they're going to hold on to this for as long as they are. Finally going to launch that one forward, but Corona's already kind of taken the initiative and is going to go ahead and go underneath the basket. They're in position to try to get a push off, but no! 3 down! Making a delayed wipe. A huge stop by Penn State to slow down the momentum of Illinois.
As we're seeing, the ball goes in for PSU as Jay goes down for it. However, the damage is done. The basket is open. The lead has flipped with 2 minutes left to play. They were going in for just a little bit more points, getting shut down there. But with the lead flipped, no, Red Emberz is once again on the back foot, trying to push their way forward point by point. Relatively, remember how you mentioned 100-0? Yeah, think again. These teams have other plans.
Certainly, and I mean, that's kind of how Eeltail Clams goes. It's either going to be a 100-0 push or you're going to get a beautiful back and forth like you do here. It's kind of just a flip of a coin almost as to what you're going to see. And so far, we've landed on at least the more exciting flip of the coin here as Illinois State is already ready to respond. Power clam going in. They only need a handful of clams to get the lead. They will do so. 2 down on the side of Penn State. More clams coming in from the Red Emberz. They are out of clams now. 2 coming in here from Zolo. They're going to bring that down to 21. A huge lead now for the Red Emberz. This push slowing down finally as all members of Penn State are back in position here. They're going to try to get a couple more in. It's going to be 1 more from Zolo, and this push finally done. But it's going to be Penn State now with 1 minute to figure out how to get a push off and to score quite a few points here actually, because that 1 power clam will get them through the entire penalty. They're going to need another power clam and some in order to get the lead back.
I mean, but look at that right there. Vapor holding onto the power clam. They still had the pity clam and those extra clams. That was a very strong push from Red Emberz, but if I were them, I'd be careful here because, like you said, Eeltail can swing back and forth very fast, and with that much scoring power online, they have to be careful not to drop their defenses for even a second, because the second that they provide that opportunity, the points can just keep counting down.
Ooh.
But Snow getting punished for the wall as Zolo being able to take them out with a suction bomb off of it. Beautiful play.
And that's why you gotta be careful with a wall like that. Oh, and Kraken's gonna go down. A beautiful bomb placement. It's Illinois State with 5 seconds to play here. They're gonna go ahead and try to keep the aggression up. Penn State will get overtime, but if the clock is not in their favor, they're gonna set up a jump. 2 power clams are coming in. Will they get them? No, they're both good. One's gonna fall short, and nobody else is around. It's just Snow to try to get enough clams in, but they only have 3 in their pocket. alive. Red Emberz is going to take a second game off of Penn State.
My heart just dropped when those jumps came in. That is terrifying to see. But Red Emberz being able to hold that strong defense, keeping their cool, and just kind of keeping those jumps in check with their suction bomb, with all that firepower going on that one particular point, being able to sneak in and just keep throwing those cleanses, but however, just not enough to be able to pick up that power cleanse that they needed. Now Red Emberz is going to take game number 5.
Wow, what an even set between these two teams right now. You know, Penn State's still looking really good though. They do have the lead in the set, but Red Emberz is giving them a major run for their money right now.
Right? I don't know what's going to happen next, because next is Splat Zone's Flounder Heights.
Oh, okay, that's a Penn State.
That's a Penn State.
Penn State.
Well, okay. Well, okay.
I can tell you what's going to happen next. I mean, I don't want to discount Red Emberz here, but like, you have Explo on your team. Splat Zone's Flounder, this is literally like the Explo map mode. This is exactly like what Kraken and Vapor, like they water at the mouth waiting for a map mode like this. So probably I really am going to give the edge here to Penn State. Of course, don't want to discount Red Emberz. They are certainly not going to ever be out of this until the clock finally ticks 0 and the score says otherwise. So, but they do have a bit of a tall order ahead of them, as this is going to be very, very difficult to try and follow through on their keys to victory, because a lot of flank options, it's going to be kind of Corona and Kraken trying to outflank each other. And they're going to have to do whatever they can to try to get behind Vapor, because if Taro's going to be sticking on to that charger with back, it's a really, really tough special to use here, because you're kind of consistently fighting an uphill battle with the vac, and you're not really going to get any clear shots.
I mean, uphill's an understatement. Literally is uphill.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yes, while Vapor may be clicking their heels and doing a jig that Splat Zone's Flounder Heights is in the map list, Red Emberz did do a number to break momentum. A lot of matches can be decided simply by how much is your team feeling, how much can you cook, And sort of being able to get a win on the last match could do them a number, even though, yes, this isn't exactly their favorite map mode to fight PSU on. It is still something to consider with how they can sort of carry on with what they've started off. Seeing a very familiar comp coming out from both sides. 2 brushes. Oh. Interesting. That's scary if you're Tarao. I'm not sure otherwise, but...
Yeah, no, I'm very puzzled by this. I don't think I have ever quite seen the double vanilla ink brush combination like this. So they're cooking. They're cooking something, and it's not in the CCA cookbook.
Speaking of which, CCA cookbook, definitely check that out. But anyways, back to the match. Right now we're seeing Jay being able to set up with that brush. Kraken going down, so their brush buddy's not there. However, they are holding their control over these zones right now. They can set up there as much as they want. Beautiful pick onto Snow there to be able to secure themselves back into their zone. As Jay going down, trying to get the zone back, but not quite going to pan out, as this zone is most likely going to flip over to Red Emberz. Yes, it is.
Yes, it certainly will, and this is a hotly contested zone right now. Neither team has been able to quite establish themselves in the positions that they want to be in, as that bomb will pick off Snow. It looks like it's Red Emberz that's finally seeing themselves in the position that they want to be in, trying to initiate a lockout here. And no, that's going to be one member down. Kraken going to be trying to flank here, able to get up to their team's zone. And now, with the neutral zone here, going to start pushing up a possible opportunity to cap these zones, give themselves an opportunity to put more points on the board. This zone is going back and forth between PSU Blue and Red Emberz. Finally going to go to PSU favor, and the zone once again neutralized. No points being scored by either team still. This is a consistent neutral game here. Kraken going to come up with another big pick, but no, finally, 2 members down on the side of Red Emberz, but no, it's going to be Zone that comes up with a big pick here. Zone is still not capped by either team. Red Emberz trying to get back in. Finally, PSU Blue in control here, and they are looking to get a couple of picks and initiate the lockout themselves.
Right now, PSU setting Vapor up on the zones, being able to hit a lot of space. Corona being very stealthy, being able to get one pick on the Snow, but going down. Unfortunately, no, that is not enough to get Illinois back into the match right now. The Zuka is online, however, that is not the angle you want to be at to use it, as the members just keep going down one by one. The shot being able to go around, picking off Snow. There goes Kraken as well. That is two members down as Vapor is forced to retreat.
Oh, what a play there! And this zone will stay in, will flip back in favor of Illinois State. This zone is still up for grabs. Penn State not getting it as easy as they had hoped for here. And this is continuing to be even playing grounds at this point. Illinois State trying to keep control of their zone. The third member is going to go down, so it's just going to be Zolo trying to keep their position here. PSU Blue finally going to get a good grasp, and they are just starting to push up. This is not what you want to see if you're the Red Embers.
It's very smart play, being able to keep that Zuka online just long enough, but no, Kraken swinging around the side. You forgot about them. They are just going to run around and be able to get another pick right there, even though the members are down. The zone is still being flipped. No, it's going back over to Illinois as the Brush is forced to retreat once again. Jay is not finding the pick as the Inkback just takes all of the shots. Kraken trying to push their way in with the Whale, pushing the members off as Snow is right there, but no, the suction bomb denying them the trade on the zone.
Oh, and look, there's just two separate skirmishes going on right now. Corona trying to do the heavy lifting for Illinois State in the attic of PSU Blue. Not going to be able to find anything, though, as this is once again a neutral game. We have been stuck at 75 to 45 for at least a minute now.
I feel like so much has happened, but so much has not happened at the same time. I have lost track of who's doing what now. As no, the double bomb comes out, forcing out the Inkback, but not quite being able to set them up. Potentially, as the zone is not quite capped. No, Illinois State being able to secure that zone as Kraken all the way behind. Not quite ready to join that fight as Jay is keeping the members busy and kiting them back with the Brush. The Whales come out, being able to get the shot out from underneath the bridge. No, down they go to Snow, being able to set themselves up. As you know, Penn State will take the zones once it. Never mind, I don't know what's happening. I am so confused.
We might as well just stop commentating this one, Frosty, because every single time we call something out, the opposite happens, or another fight happens in another place. This is just absolute chaos at this stage. 20 seconds to play. Red Embers gets control of the zone, but loses two members at the same time. They're trying to get jump-ins here. If they could get the jump-ins, which they do, they could possibly have a chance here. But PSU doing everything they can to hold these zones neutral. These zones have been neutral for long enough that if this timer ticks to 0, it will be in their favor. No, their zones flip to Red Embers. They will get overtime. 2 members down on the side of Penn State. Then we're going to see overtime. And 3 members down on the side of Illinois. Kraken going to come up and try to neutralize the zones. And PSU Blue is at match point.
What just happened?
This is why I love Flounder Zones. I don't care what any of you say otherwise.
I don't know what to say if I even can't say anything.
Oh man, I just love this map mode so much because if you get quality games just like that, it is just so much fun. So, wow, I mean, 4-2 now as we take our second brief intermission here to go take a look at the stats as being reported, from Neptune, who is going to be joining us on the production online. Shout out to our friend Neptune.
Thanks, Neptune.
He'll be getting you the stats shortly. We're going to pull it up ourselves here to view it within the studio. But as we start to get those up, hopefully we get Neptune's feed here soon enough. But let's go ahead and just start to break down those last 3 games that we just saw, Frosty.
I mean, just looking at the stats right here, it seems like Red Embers just fell short on the numbers game. Being able to sort of keep themselves alive. This was a very messy match, with not a lot of pushes being able to go that far until the very end. And sort of, it's shown right here with the very scrappy KDs that we've got going on here. Just a lot of people going down left and right. It's difficult to sort of play the numbers game when you don't know how many numbers there is at any given time. You can't count on anything.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. I believe this is the Flounder Zones game. Look at those graphs. I don't think I've ever seen such a straight line in a Splat Zones game, period. That is absolutely wild. that neither team delivered any points for the entire last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I can't believe it myself either. Just nothing happening.
There's literally nothing happened for 3 minutes. It was just like you said, Frosty. It was so much, yet so little happened.
I don't think I saw a wipeout. Did you?
I don't think there was a wipeout either. That's the crazy part. Like, literally, like if you look at the top here, I've never seen such an empty, like just a bunch of headers there. Like we saw 2 lead swaps the entire time, and just nobody scored after that. Like you
It's
cannot
like, all
make
right,
this up.
we're tired. We're gonna stop. Like, what?
That is absolute comedy. As we take a look at the KAs for that game as well here in studio, we do see Zolo going with that 11-6 KA, leading the way for Illinois State. A phenomenal performance from Zolo. Zolo was getting a lot of crucial picks there to try to keep their team in the game. Corona, definitely not quite the game that we had anticipated from them. It seemed like they spent a lot of time flanking, but every time that Corona was looking for a flank opportunity, they were easily called out.
I mean, how can you go for a flank when there's 2 other people that want to do the exact same thing? Looking at Kraken and Jay here. I know we questioned the double brush, but I mean, it did pay off. We're looking at 12-5 on Kraken and 11-6 on Jay. That's definitely a statement to make with 2 weapons that, like, I don't even know how they thought of that, but it seemed to work.
Yeah, and looking at that Clamblitz Eeltail game as well. See, this was much more up Corona and Taro's alley. Literally Eeltail alley. As Taro, once again, delivering a masterclass on that backline, 11-3 in that KDA. So a beautiful performance, you know, and that's exactly what we need to continue to see out of Taro. As we mentioned during those first 3 game segments, it's the best game that they had was when Taro delivered that 5.5 KDA ratio.
Yep, and that sort of defining backline presence is exactly what Illinois State needs to set themselves up. They've got a lot to deal with this brush coming around, not to mention the shot, potentially the 52 gal coming out. Weapons like that can easily secure themselves with their defining specials or play styles. Having that reliable rock to sort of rest on whenever things get too intense, Toronto needs to be that for their team in order to get those victories.
Certainly. Well, we are now headed into our final 3 game segment, but it could be as little as 1 game, as many as 3. So a lot at stake for both of these teams as we are looking to punch somebody's ticket to the grand finals. So we're going to be starting to look towards the next game here, which will be Tower Control Hagglefish Market, as PSU Blue is up 4-2. So this is match point for them. They have 3 opportunities now to advance to the grand finals.
Remember how I said that I didn't trust the person that made the map list? I take it back. This is a good one. So, Tower Control Hagglefish. It's got a surprising amount of complexity with being able to balance the slow moving of the tower with the opportunities it provides you. The left and right approach options are very different geographically and also just timing-wise. There's a lot of sort of variability in gameplay and a lot of nuance to sort of recognizing your opportunities. And so, in this case, I want to see people like Corona and Kraken making use of that left point, the point that's out of the way, but not really for brushes because they can just zoom right through it.
Yeah.
While weapons that have a lot more pressure, like Tarao's Charger or Snow's Shot, being able to sort of hold that elbow and I guess under the tarp area. There's a lot of areas that you want to play for in this match, and I'd say that I would give Red Emberz this one. Remember how we said the Splat Zone's flounder was sort of PSU's? I'd say this is Red Emberz.
I was thinking the exact same thing, Frosty, as I really like what Illinois State has been cooking up. I mean, they've been really consistent with their compositions, and that's one of their key points to victory here, was that they basically said the last time they played Penn State, they were cooking too much. They kind of burned down the kitchen in a way. They just said that there's too many compositions, there was not enough consistency. And I think we've maybe seen like 1 weapon change from this entire Red Emberz roster so far in this set.
They weren't joking when they said consistency is key, and I guess if it'll work, it'll work. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So going into game number 6?
7.
7. Sorry, I can't count.
All good. And consistency continues to be the name of the game here, as we will be continuing to see that brush, charger, shot, and try Nouveau combination out of Illinois State. Snow switching over to the shot as well. So we'll be seeing a couple of Zukas coming in also.
Right, and notably not taking the tarp from what I can see here. However, not exactly where you want to be when all the members are kind of pushed back. This first part of Tower Haggle is what I'd like to see. This sort of poking around neutral as right now, Corona being able to, not Corona, sorry, that was Kraken, being able to secure themselves right now with an early pick as the Whales are pushing back the Charger. Oh, okay, beautiful shot as the Crab goes down. Penn State's first push is dead with the wipe out, and the tower is swinging back the other way.
It certainly is, as we now see all members of Red Emberz pushing up. Corona gonna get called out early though, and now just trying to poke here. The beautiful time to bring out this back as they are approaching this right side canopy, limiting the opportunities for Penn State to shoot at the tower. It's gonna be the first checkpoint that goes down. Illinois State approaching the second checkpoint with numbers in their favor. 36 points remaining. They are going to clear the second checkpoint. Frosty, they are approaching that oh no zone.
Oh no, indeed, as right now, the Crab being able to take out the Tower Rider with the members down. However, they are not ready to get this push up just yet, as another goes down on tower. It is just Corona jumping back to keep their Whales alive. But 2 checkpoints right away off of the first 2 minutes of the match, that is devastating right now.
It is, but Hagglefish Market Tower Control is known for having these big pushes. If you can get the stop right at that third checkpoint like Penn State did, you're still in a good spot. It's when that third checkpoint gets cleared that you might as well call the game a wrap. So they kind of stopped it in the nick of time, and now they are looking to replicate that exact push here, as they're in a great spot here. Vapor just constantly shooting at this canopy. Nobody can even get close to him right now. This back shot's gonna overshoot, but no, it's still gonna pick him off.
All calculated, being able to use that wall and secure not 1 but 2 picks on the tower and stop this push in his tracks. That second checkpoint is going untouched. Illinois State right now is in a very comfortable spot, keeping that tower no power. They don't want to rush them over. Like you said, this map can swing either way very, very fast once those checkpoints get cleared. So they want to make sure they keep that second checkpoint safe as possible. And how do you keep that checkpoint safe as possible? Keeping the tower as far as possible. As you see right now, Penn State trying to push in again. Once again, Kraken leading the way with Vapor on the tower. Similar strategy to how they had beforehand. This is setting up Jay on the target.
Oh, beautiful Crab. And I think that was a bomb, probably by either Snow or Kraken there, that was able to take out 2 members of Illinois State. That's a delayed wipe. Points on the board for Penn State. They are going to clear this second checkpoint. They're looking for the lead. They're looking to secure their spot in the grand finals. They're on their way. They're going to get the lead. Yes, they do. They're going to keep this tower moving. Finally, 15 points remaining. Penn State lead in their favor, but no checkpoint. We're still playing for another minute and a half.
Very, very bold play, just being able to inch out those extra points that they needed to get the lead. Even though they have not broken the checkpoint yet, that's okay, they've got the points. They are now giving the ball back into ISU's court and saying, okay, well, it's your turn. We hit it this time. Do it again. We dare you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're doing here. They really just said, I dare you guys to do that one more time. We don't think you can. As now, 2 members down inside Illinois State, they're going to get back in quickly. The other 2 members with their specials online. This back could be huge for Illinois, as now 3 members going down on the side of Penn State. A good opportunity now for the Red Emberz to start moving up once again. Corona, Zolo leading the charge here. Tarao going to ride this tower, probably going to pop that vacuum a little bit beyond where his first checkpoint was, because they're in a great spot right now. Nobody's contesting this tower quite yet. A beautiful 3-man front here, getting control of this power path right now, and this is the time that this back is going to come out maybe a little bit early, but no, they're going to find 2 people, and that's a huge shot, and that's going to be the lead. Red Emberz by 1.
That was insane. The tap shot being able to clean up that second pick. Exactly, they had just enough damage just to be able to get those numbers that they needed to get that crucial stop right there, as Vapor riding the tower with 15 seconds left to play. The Crab coming out already trying to deny him, so no, canceled by the Charger. As right now, with Penn State having their Crab out of commission, they need to get that fast, or they need to get something going to keep
that's
us going.
A good suction ball. Gonna push Vapor off the tower. Another one coming in. This is not a good spot for Penn State. It's a duel on the tower. Red Emberz comes from behind in game number margin, 3-4. Penn State still up, but Red Emberz back in the set.
It's like I said earlier, we might have been sleeping on Red Emberz. That was insane. That last push that they had just to get those extra points. Oh, that was, I don't even think I remember exactly what happened, but.
Wow. I was not anticipating trying to lose my voice on this first semifinal set. This has definitely been, I think, a lot closer than what most of our audience was anticipating. Penn State coming into this season and this playoffs as the community favorite, definitely the #1 choice in our CCA fantasy, which if you participated, be sure to keep a lookout on those scores. Those are consistently being updated to see where you are if you know these CCA teams better than anyone else.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what you mean about everyone. I kind of called it. So, you know,
we both called it for that game, but we're still on track for your exact prediction, Frost. You called this one 5-3 in terms of Penn State's favor, but now we advance to game number 8. Penn State, another opportunity to close this one out.
I mean, Rainmaker Manta Maria. Full disclosure, I am not the best at Manta Maria. I despise that map, but Rainmaker Manta is it's very fickle, where you have the 2 checkpoints, but after that, it's just a mad rush for the last one, you know, as all Rainmaker maps are, but at that point, the right's pretty much your option, unless you're always committing to the left, which, why would you commit to the left? That's like solo queue, I guess, but notably, Penn State, I think, has a slight advantage here, having that Explo being able to deny space. However, Red Emberz, if Tarao can get set up, especially on you know, the bunker area leading in, that's also a powerful position to stop people from coming in, and you'll be able to at least drop down to the floor really easily. So, I guess loading out here into game number 8, looking at the comps here, we see familiar picks, of course. Gotta have the consistency that we were looking for. The Emberz Dualies.
Oh, and welcome to the new season, folks. As J Money, fair game here, bringing out the Emberz Dualies with a splashdown, the triple splashdown. I gotta get the name correct now. It's gonna be a very interesting dynamic pick here, and that's gonna cause a lot of chaos, I think. But look at Corona already getting the flanks here. Gonna pick off 2, picking a duel with Kraken, not gonna be able to find him, and both players are gonna back off.
Very messy start, but right now with Illinois being able to get that Rainmaker and slowly inch their way towards this left checkpoint, are they potentially thinking about taking that left route, potentially? Maybe I'm kind of jinxing it. Right now, Jay, the Kraken Mare Pancakes is not the only thing that Jay is cooking with that. Corona being able to go forward and push the Rainmaker just a little more points, up to 42. A very promising start for Illinois.
Absolutely, as the Red Emberz off to a quick start here, finally going to get slowed down just a little bit, as Corona already has position in the bunker here. They're going to have to figure out how to get him the heck out of there, and another Sharking player, 2 people here trying to shut down this Rainmaker. Both are going to get shut down, but it took 2 of them to take down the Rainmaker. I think that kind of neutralizes out because PSU had a bit of momentum there, but you do lose 2 members if you're on the side of Red Emberz.
Honestly, we're watching a completely different team here. Illinois is playing a lot more aggressive. They are just taking the opportunities that are presented to them, even if it's not exactly the cleanest way forward. They're like, you know what? We got this. We've got the support. We've got the teamwork. Sort of right now, Kraken being able to pop that shield. However, 3 members are camping that Rainmaker. They cannot go for a grab right now. I take that back as Illinois being able to take that. Zolo goes down as the Rainmaker is just firing shots at that left side, trying to secure their way back up, and the shield is right back where it started.
That's Kraken with a triple there, trying to keep their team in it, seemingly being the main person getting picks in this one. And it seems like that Kraken's going to continue to lead the way here. Finally going to get a 4-piece there as well. Much delayed quad, looking to find more. Corona going to have to respect the brush here, recognizing that Kraken is on a tear, taking down their teammates left and right. Finally, the Rainmaker's going to be resetting here. Penn State yet to get a meaningful push off yet. Oh, a quick push onto that charger, but it's going to get called out by Corona. No, it was the Rainmaker explosion from Corona, actually. And it's still Illinois State in the driver's seat here in game number 8.
Calculation or coincidence, it is undeniable that Corona is on a rampage right now, taking down 2 members as Kraken comes back to clean up the kill. Rainmaker has cooler right now because those points can tick down a lot faster than they were before. This is a scary situation to be in right now. Right now, the Rainmaker is up in the bunker as Terrell just kind of saying tap shots over. No, Kraken comes up from the top. And right now, being able to get away from the Rainmaker explosion and taking them out.
That was a huge, huge pick, and now the numbers finally in Penn State's favor. Map in their favor. Checkpoint will go down. Jay gonna get the cheap splashdown kill that we've all seen on Twitter at this point. And now this Rainmaker, they did get the checkpoint the first time, but they will clean it up the second time. I thought for sure they had it the first time. I didn't even notice.
I didn't notice anything after the splashdown, honestly. That was, I didn't even see it coming, to be honest. With the way that this special works, it's very difficult to kind of make the mental adjustment from the way that it worked in 1. As right now, Cliff going down to the bomb from Kraken, being able to polish them off right over at the first checkpoint. Right now with 1 minute left to play, Red Ember still has the lead. However, it is not a comfortable one. It's the splashdown.
Oh, there's the lead! Oh, what a play! Kraken going the distance. 14 points remaining. Penn State sneaking through here. They get the lead with a minute to play. Red Emberz on the ropes here in game number 8. They are down 3 to 4 in this set. 50 seconds to play. Their finals hopes on the line here. Kraken coming from behind and make another big hero play. And is able to do so.
The red light, green light on the right side. Being able to say, nope, you didn't get me. Nope, you didn't get me. Gotcha.
Oh my goodness. And that's why Kraken fans wanted the best in the business.
Now with Cliff coming forward, 30 seconds left to play, trying to secure the right approach. A very difficult area to jump through, especially with not knowing exactly who's over there. You need to be able to send teammates over. The suction bomb trying to stall them out, keeping them in that right side as the trade comes down to the left. Corona is down as
Jay with the carries, and that's a wipeout. It's Penn State. That's gonna be moving on to the grand finals. 5 seconds to play. This Rainmaker is not budging. PSU Blue wins the set 5-3.
And the splashdown for the coup de grace at the end. So fitting. Cooking in the last game. They need to punch their ticket. And what a decision it was.
Oh my goodness. I don't think you could have painted this set any better. The PSU Blue taking the extra mile here against Red Emberz. A beautiful performance by both teams.
I think we can both say that our voices are a little tired and it's only the 70s.
Yeah, it certainly is. So, there's so much to talk about here between these two teams. So now that the set is concluded, it will be 5-3 in favor of PSU Blue. We're going to go ahead and grab some quick stats for you all, as our next set was actually scheduled to start 10 minutes ago. So we're going to be quick here, folks, because we just don't have much time. So we'll go ahead and get Neptune to bring up those stats for you all. We will bring up the stats here in studio as well, so we can take a look at what these teams kind of cooked up in those last 2 games.
I mean, and cooking they were. As we're seeing here, Tower Control and Hagglefish Market being a very even game, and we're seeing it in the stats right here. Once again, Trout being that sort of anchor that their team needs, only going down 4 times during that set. But with the Rainmaker on Manta Maria.
Yeah, sorry, we'll switch over to that game first, since that's what Neptune's providing for us. My apologies. But, with the graph here, look at just kind of how back and forth this was. It's there wasn't really any big pushes on both sides. Both teams kind of just got one notable push off. But it was just pretty consistently just one team's trying to push. They do get they get good picks to try to stop the push from continuing, and it just really seemed like a stalemate for a large portion of this game.
Maybe my depth perception's a little bad, but oh no, as we're seeing right here, the 2 picks going down right there at the 2-minute mark is kind of what Penn State needed to get this huge push going on for that first checkpoint. And after that, it's just a matter of Krakenmare doing their best John Wick impression under constant fire and just ducking right underneath to secure those points all the way to 14?
14 remaining, yes, exactly as it shows on screen right now. So a beautiful hero play by multiple members of Penn State is what punches their ticket to the grand finals. Just to cover very briefly as we let the rest of that graph run, but we did talk very briefly about that Tower Troll Hagglefish game. It was very, very even as the KDA kind of across the board was really just consistent between the two teams. Nobody kind of got the edge here as we've kind of seen in a bunch of the other previous games. We saw, Zolo kind of lead the charge with an 11 KA, which is just, for a game that went 5 and some minutes, it's just, kind of surprising that nobody really was able to make anything super notable happen here. It was just no big individual plays. It was just very good, consistent team effort on both sides.
Yeah, very consistent pressure. And I noticed you mentioned that no team got the edge. I disagree. I'd say each team got the edge exactly once, and it kind of just, it stayed consistent that way. With that, notably with 1 point being the difference here, that one was close.
Absolutely. Well, that is going to be PSU Blue that wins this one 5-3. They now await the winner of our next set, MSU Aries taking on EA UCD Banana Split. We're going to go ahead and take a very, very short 2-minute break to get our next set of commentators ready. We'll be back in the studio very shortly to introduce them. So stay tuned. You are not going to want to miss this.
Don't go anywhere.